We are standing at the edge of a new technological age, one that's powered by artificial intelligence. It promises to reshape our world with a speed and a power that is, frankly, breathtaking. But just beneath the surface of all this hype, there's a deep and pretty troubling paradox. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into the powerful yet profoundly flawed state of AI today.
You know, years before most of us had even heard of ChatGPT, Bill Gates saw what was on the horizon. Way back in a 2017 memo, he predicted a revolution as big as the moment we all stopped typing commands and started clicking on icons. He got it. He understood the sheer scale of the change we were all about to face.
And right here, this is the bottom line. This is the central problem we're going to unpack. AI is a genuine production revolution. It's a fundamental shift in how we create things. But, and this is a big but, all of that incredible power is being crippled by a shocking disconnect from basic human psychology. The result? A growing crisis of usability and trust that honestly threatens to derail the whole thing.
To really understand this, let's start not with the technology itself, but with the experience of actually using it. Because for millions of people, their first brush with these incredibly powerful tools isn't awe. It's just pure confusion.
I mean, look at this. This is what you see when you open up a lot of today's big AI tools. It's just a dizzying list of choices with these bizarre technical names. 2.0 Flash thinking experimental with apps. Seriously? What does that even mean to a teacher who's just trying to whip up a lesson plan, or a parent who wants to edit a family photo? Instead of feeling empowered, you just feel overwhelmed. And that's a massive barrier right from the get-go.
And this isn't just, a case of bad design. It's a failure to grasp decades of research into how our minds actually work. The awkwardness we feel when we use these new tools, well, it's completely predictable because they ignore some of the most basic principles of human behavior.
It really starts with what psychologists call the IKEA Effect. We all know this feeling. We place way more value on things we helped create, even if we just did a tiny bit of the work. You spend an hour putting together that simple bookshelf, and suddenly it feels like your bookshelf. We want to personalize our tools. We want to feel like we're shaping our AI assistants, not just using some generic one-size-fits-all service.
But that desire for personalization runs headfirst into something called the paradox of choice. There's this famous study, you might have heard of it, where a grocery store set up a jam tasting booth. One day they had 24 flavors, the next day only 6. And guess what? The booth with just 6 jams outsold the one with 24 by a factor of 10. Why? Because too many choices makes us anxious. We get paralyzed. Faced with 8 confusing AI models, most of us will just give up and close the window.
Now, the challenges here go way beyond a confusing interface. It is absolutely critical that we understand the monumental economic shift this technology represents. This isn't just some new feature. It's an entirely new kind of technology.
So here's the crucial point. The internet was a distribution revolution. It built the digital highways to move information and goods around the world faster. AI is a production revolution. It doesn't just move things, it makes things from scratch. It's the digital version of the Industrial Revolution.
And this right here, this shows you exactly what we mean. This incredible cinematic scene of woolly mammoths wasn't filmed by a camera crew. It was created by OpenAI's Sora from a simple text prompt. What used to take a whole Hollywood studio can now be generated on a laptop. That is a production revolution, right there in front of your eyes.
This image, which by the way was also created by an AI, really captures the whole idea. We now have these digital factories that can mass produce not just pictures, but business reports, legal documents, software code, you name it. A graphic that once took a skilled artist hours to create can now be generated in a matter of seconds.
And the economic impact of this is just staggering. The founder of DreamWorks, Jeffrey Katzenberg, predicts that within just a few years, AI will cut the cost of making a major animated movie by 90%. Not 10%, not 20, 90. Let that sink in for a moment.
But here's the problem. All of this incredible productive power has been deployed into a world that is, frankly, terrified of it. The result is this massive cultural backlash. And it's a totally natural consequence when you release a tool this powerful without thinking enough about the human side of the equation.
Of course, being skeptical of new technology, that's as old as time. Socrates worried that the written word would make us all forgetful.
The printing press was seen as a dangerous source of information overload, and early cars were called killing machines. Human history is full of us fearing our own inventions.
But this time really does feel different. AI landed right after a decade of scandals that basically destroyed public trust in big tech. It arrived when economic anxiety was already sky high, and maybe most importantly, it seems to be targeting the very things we hold most dear. It threatens creative work, it feels fake in an age where we all crave authenticity, and it strikes right at the top of Maslow's hierarchy: our identity, our creativity, our very sense of self.
And you can see that fear showing up right here in the data. According to Gallup, the percentage of American workers who are afraid of being replaced by AI is climbing fast. But look closer at the numbers. Look at the jump among college-educated workers. These are the very people who, for decades, felt safe from automation. Now, they feel uniquely vulnerable.
So yeah, this is a serious problem, but it's not unsolvable. The industry can and absolutely must start to repair this broken relationship with the public. There is a path forward.
The strategy is pretty clear, really. It starts with getting back to basics. First, focus on fundamental human needs. Talk about how AI can detect cancer earlier, not just how it can write a poem. Second, lead with the problem you're solving, saying this tool saves you 4 hours of paperwork, not with the technical specs. Third, change the messenger. Nobody trusts tech CEOs right now. Let's hear from the nurses and the farmers who are actually using this stuff. Fourth, you have to acknowledge the impact on jobs head-on and make retraining workers a central part of the mission. And finally, design products that make the human, not the machine, the hero of the story.
Ultimately, technology has always been an engine for our imagination. From the printing press to the film camera, new tools have always opened up new frontiers for human creativity. With AI, we have built the most powerful engine in history. The defining question of our time is no longer about how powerful that engine is, it's about who gets to hold the keys.